Mmm. That's dinner tonight. Hey everybody, John here from Catbird Hill. So I'm just hanging out on the patio, kind of a different venue for most of the videos, and we're just doing a little bit of dinner. It's gotten warm here in southeastern Pennsylvania. It's just everything is definitely full-blown spring here. We have about 74, 75 degrees today, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And I figured I could certainly cook inside, but got the little handy dandy charbroil here, our little simple grill, which works great for us. And thought we would just do a little cooking outside, enjoy the great outdoors. So we got a little bit of a filling here for some stuffed cabbage. So we've got some garlic, onions, carrots, some peppers, a little bit of meat in there, and some tomatoes and spices. And we're going to throw in some rice and roll that up into little cabbage leaves and bake them. It's going to be a great dinner tonight. Anyhow, not here to talk about food, although hopefully that's got your mouth water in there. We're here to talk about work gloves. Oh my goodness, I have been wanting to make this video for a long time. I don't know if you're like me or not, but I have had the worst trouble finding a high quality pair of work gloves that last, more than a pair of gloves that I can use that lasts more than one season. So I have tried a ton of gloves. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the ones I have here on the table and just kind of go through a quick review of these, what I like, what I don't like about some of them, and my final conclusion regarding work gloves, which is probably the one thing I'm most sure about here. So we do a lot of different jobs on the property, as you know, from the videos you've seen. A lot of, chainsaw work, firewood handling, tractor work, so on and so forth. And I'm going to raise this up here so that you guys can get a pretty good view. Hopefully you'll be able to see me here. Okay. Let's give that a whirl. Okay, so, each of the different things we do on the property, I felt requires a different pair of gloves. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to, these big, thick, heavy insulated work gloves, I'm not going to pull weeds with these, nor these real thin, sort of latex or nitrile coated gloves. I'm not going to run a chainsaw with these, So, different gloves for different jobs. I guess what I want to do is talk a little bit about finding probably what I would consider like an all-purpose glove. Something that is, has like a medium thick leather material, might have a little bit of an elastic material around the stretch points like your thumbs and the back of your wrist, the back of the fingers. That's probably the glove that I go to the most when I'm driving the tractor, if I'm working in the garden, I'm shoveling, doing something like that. I have tried probably 20 different brands, and I've sort of categorized them by price. And I've tried some very inexpensive ones, things I've purchased at Harbor Freight or even just a hardware store, kind of, no name brand type things for a few dollars a piece. You kind of get what you pay for there. Typically, what happens with those, the seam breaks out either on the side of the stitching on the side of the fingers here. Like where, there's actually a stitched seam right in here. That'll tear apart. Fingers, are constantly blowing the fingers out. I know that's a big complaint for a lot of people that, fingertips aren't reinforced and they just keep tearing. So I've tried all different ones. And what I've come to the conclusion about is that, honestly, the size of your hand and the shape of your hand a lot of times determines how long that glove's going to last. I'm convinced. I've got a big hand. I guess, based on numbers, I know that hands or glove sizes are in numbers. I think I've got like a 10. I've got long fingers. I've got a wide palm. So I'm always going for the extra large glove. and not all gloves that say extra large are really extra large. Here's a glove that was highly rated. It's called a Cayman. That's the brand. And this is the Mag 2951, whatever that means. It says very clearly there, extra large, right? Well, let me put my left hand in, which is not my dominant hand. My left hand barely fits into this glove. I mean, I've got to pull it on, and you know, when I close my hand in this glove, I can feel the fingers and the material here getting stretched to the maximum. It's hard for me even to close my hand there to make a grip. The grip's great. I mean, it's got this tacky, almost looks like alligator skin or something on there. It's some kind of a rubber vinyl material. It's a great idea, but they didn't make an extra large glove, so I'm probably going to give these to somebody else. It's got all this great technical information about how wonderful the material is and how long it'll last. Sorry, extra large in a Cayman is definitely not my extra large. I could probably go up 2 sizes in these. They did send a nice carabiner hook with it, though, whatever that's worth. So, I think a lot of times you just have to, you have to try the gloves on. I've ordered so many through the mail. I don't think I'm ever going to do that again because I end up sending half of them back. I probably should have sent those back. The gloves that probably work the best for me are, unfortunately, I guess the more expensive ones. And I'm going to call these. Of course, these are branded steel. Obviously, it's going to carry a little bit of a bigger price tag because of the product brand on there. These I would call like the $25 to $30 gloves. Better quality leather. The stitching is reinforced. It usually has a lot of these gloves. There are at least 2 or 3 rows of double stitching around the fingers, so a little bit more a mechanically sound glove. Most of these gloves in this range have a nice stretch fabric on the back of the fingers that allows your hand to move more easily. I'll put my right hand in this one. Goes right in, unlike that other one, and I can flex my fingers and I don't feel any tension on the material. It's got extra padding on the knuckles, because invariably if you're hooking up implements on your 3-point hitch, you're always going to bang your knuckles on something. It's got extra material stitched over this area. The thing that I don't like about these gloves, which I think could be an improvement, this is just the regular steel kind of ranch glove, and this is the steel timber sport. This was described to be for a lighter glove, a little more active, because it's got more of the mesh material on it, and it doesn't have the reinforced extra layer of leather there. But the thing that I don't like about these gloves, and I mean for $25 or $30, I just don't know why they don't do this, but just reinforce the fingers. Put some of this extra material here, this extra leather, on the fingers. Just put a cap on each finger. That's all I ask for. It can't be that hard to do. And I just can't imagine, for $25 or $30, they couldn't do that. And steel's not the only one. I mean, Husqvarna makes gloves, or labels gloves with their brand. There are a lot of other, good quality leather gloves that you can find online. I buy a lot of my material, our materials here for the property from Gemplers. I'll leave a link to their website in the description, and they've got a great selection of gloves. But I would always prefer to have a glove that has a little more reinforcement on the tip. I think there's a brand of glove out there. It's called Ranch Works, RANCHWORXX. I think that's how it's spelled. I've seen them advertised. I received a couple of pairs as gifts years ago. I haven't bought them for myself because I think they're $45 gloves, and I just can't imagine spending $45 for a pair of gloves. What I remember, they worked really well. I got a couple seasons out of them, which is better than any of the ones you see here so far. But I just don't want to spend $45 on a pair of work gloves. So this is my upper end price-wise, $25, $30. I've had a couple pairs of these. I've never tried the Timber Sports before. These have actually lasted me fairly well. They've gotten a couple seasons out of the steels. So in terms of other heavier work gloves, these gloves here, these were just hardware store gloves. Probably didn't spend more than $7 or $10 on these. They're winter. They have a fleece lining in them, which is really nice. Um, as you can see, they've been well used. I wash my gloves. I get into poison ivy and all kinds of stuff. So if I get into that mess, I'll just wash them. I've washed these gloves probably 4 or 5 times. They're great. I mean, there's been no tears anywhere. The fingers are all still intact. Um, that's one of those things where sometimes you just have to get in, to a store and try on some gloves. And from the minute I put these on, these felt really good. They've got a nice adjustable Velcro strap in the back to cinch up, and they really are warm. My hands get really cold in the wintertime. These gloves I've been very happy with. Again, on the low end price wise. So they don't even have a label indicating the brand. I think it was just, maybe Ace Hardware brand gloves or something. Um, Another pair of gloves that we do use, that I use, and I've actually have spent some decent money on these. These are by a company called Bionic. I don't know if you can pick up that embossing in the light there. Bionic, like the old $6 million man, the Bionic Man. These gloves are really nice, and they have flex points on the knuckles. They've got a flex point here with fabric on the back of the knuckles here, a little bit in the thumb. They've got a reinforced pad here. No reinforcement on the fingertips, but you notice there's a gauntlet. And we get into the woods a lot of times, and we're trying to do brush clearing, and you've got multiflora rows, all kinds of thorns scratching at you. It's just nice to have some kind of extra protection around your wrist, particularly this time of the year when I may not be in a long sleeve shirt. So this actually is a pair of gloves that I've used for a couple of years. I don't use them all the time. They don't get the heavy use that the others do. They were probably, in that $25–$30 range. But I really like that gauntlet on there. And these fit me perfectly. These are, let's see. Yeah, these are XLs, and they really fit me well. Chainsaw gloves. I'm a huge believer in safety. I mean, I use my hands to make a living, not just here. And I do want to have protection on my hands when I'm using a chainsaw, as well as a little shock absorption. So these are chainsaw gloves by Husqvarna. They have the left-handed glove, which is the one that is, on the handle, the top handle holding the saw like this, has a reinforced Kevlar padding here, so that if you were to throw a chain and it came over, the chain should not cut through you. The Kevlar would stop it. A great idea, very comfortable gloves. They just pull on really nice. But here's what bothered me about these gloves. After just one season, the thumb of the right glove just totally blew apart. And the finger of the right forefinger, that's already starting to come apart. I mean, these are more expensive. I mean, they're specialty gloves. These are probably $30–$40 gloves. Getting one season out of a pair of gloves like this, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I can still use this one. This one's fine, but this one's totally toast. So I've gotten other chainsaw gloves, again, no name brands from companies like Gempler's, or I go to one of the local saw shops and find, a relatively inexpensive pair of chainsaw gloves that have actually last longer than those Husqvarnas. So the next type of glove I have are these. I mean, these are really popular right now. These are the nitrile dipped gloves. They're light, they're elastic, and they have a coating. They were dipped, and I guess it's nitrile. Probably not as much latex anymore because everybody's freaked out about latex. But these actually were Harbor Freight, NXG brand, and these were really inexpensive. These were like maybe a couple bucks a pair. I really like these gloves. I actually spent, almost a month tearing off plaster on a brick wall. So I was dealing with mortar and brick and plaster chunks and pretty abrasive stuff. And honestly, the material held out pretty well. I mean, I was using these gloves every day for weeks, and they're still kind of dusty. You can see the dust from all the mortar and the plaster I was dealing with, but I was really pleased with these. For a couple of bucks to last like that, I can still use them. They're not waterproof or anything, but I think for the $2 or so I spent for these at Harbor Freight, I think pretty good deal. Let's see. Another pair of Harbor Freight gloves, Hardy gloves. I think that's a brand of glove that's very popular there. They make a number of different work gloves, different types. You can tell, brand new. I hit a sale lately. Um, I like these gloves for light gardening. So pulling weeds, planting things. You know, the material on here, it's not real thick. It's going to wear off probably, but these are real light. You know, as the weather gets hotter, this is really a comfortable glove to wear for, you know, pulling weeds, particularly if it's wet outside in the morning. If we're out there digging in the garden in the morning, nice glove. Probably not going to last real long, but I think these were 99 cents. You know, again, uh, you know, you get what you pay for, but I'm happy with these. And I would actually use these gloves to do some mechanical work. Like if I'm working on a chainsaw or a weed whacker and I've got oil and gas and stuff floating around, these would be nice gloves to use for that, because I'd probably use them and then, you know, eventually just toss them. An upgrade for that type of a glove is something here. I got these from our local farm store, not Tractor Supply, not RK. It's a family-owned farm store here in Pennsylvania. These are called V2 Flex Grip. I love these gloves. These were a little bit more expensive than the ones from Harbor Freight. These were probably maybe $2, you know, $1.99, something like that. I really like these gloves. Heavier material than the Harbor Freight. The coating is definitely heavier. It feels like it's double the thickness, and it actually has a texture. I don't know if you can see. There's like a almost like a it's got like a spongy texture to it. Really good grip gloves. So again, for gardening or some mechanical work, holding wrenches, you know, where you might have oil or something that's causing the tendency for the wrench or the tool to slip, these have been really good. Another version of that is this is by a company called Memphis. It looks like Ninja Flex. Ninja, I've seen that brand on a lot of gloves. Same idea. These are really nice, probably a little heavier grade than the last ones. This material seems to be a lot thicker. The coating is a lot thicker, and this glove is just a little roomier. You know, I've worn these gloves for a little while now, so maybe they've stretched out. But again, probably like a $3 or $4 glove. I see a lot of people using these gloves now. These you can get anywhere. You know, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, I guess, you know, Lowe's. Just like a general purpose knit glove. It's got a much thicker, I guess they call this a garden glove. It's got a thicker knit material, and the coating is much thicker. So I would probably be using this to do maybe some heavier work in the garden where, you know, you might get really muddy. I could probably hose these off, and I think this coating is going to last a little bit longer. Again, probably a $3-4 pair of gloves. Before you all fall asleep on my glove review, this is the last one. I try to work all winter long outside as much as I can, doing whatever I need to do. These gloves, this is that company Ninja again. These are called Ninja Ice. These are insulated gloves, and they're waterproof. So you could actually go into water in the wintertime if, you know, maybe if you were working in the snow or something like that. Your hands stay dry, they stay warm. I've used these. I would say they are fairly waterproof. I haven't felt moisture get through these. They're not as warm as I think they should be. I think they're advertised as a insulated glove. They haven't kept me quite as warm as I would like. Anyhow, these were probably there's the price tag right there, $12.95, and XL. They actually fit really well. So anyhow, you know, just a quick review. I mean, I get so many people, it's amazing, asking me when I go to the hardware store or Lowe's or Home Depot and I'm looking at gloves, total strangers come up and say, you know, which glove's your favorite one? So I think it's a topic that a lot of people are interested in, and I haven't seen too many videos on YouTube about it. I just thought I'd throw this one out. You know, leave some comments and let me know what gloves you guys like for all different jobs. I'm never going to stop working here, so I'm going to continue to go through gloves. So I'd like to get some ideas from your comments about what things you like and don't like, and different applications, maybe where you got them, how much you paid. Thanks for watching this video. A little bit different. We're going to be out working later this week. I've been really busy at work. I just haven't had a chance much to get out on the tractor and do some work. I want to start moving those fir logs that we cut last week But anyhow, thanks for watching. Really appreciate the support. We're growing subscribers video by video, and we really appreciate all the feedback, the support. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Please click the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Mosquitoes are already out here, southeastern Pennsylvania. Got my first mosquito bite yesterday on my wrist. Going to get many more. Make sure you subscribe. Click the bell icon to get the notifications when we upload. Leave comments. Stay tuned for the next video. John here from Catbird Hill. Take care.